Thank you. Well, you are preaching to the choir here. This is my #1 top platform item. I live this daily. There's 3 components to this. There's business retention and expansion, and there's attraction for businesses coming into Sechelt. And we must retain our youth with this as well. Without a vibrant, active economy that we contribute and add to, we are not a functioning community. We need to support our local businesses with a truly buy local, and that means we need to support those businesses that invest in Sechelt. And that investment needs to come back. We also need to look to the future and see what the needs are in our community, whether it be seniors housing, whether it be attracting more youth, which we must do to keep our economy going. So this is #1 for me, because this is the pinnacle. Without this, we have nothing else. We need people in our hospitals to help
Christine,
our parents.
that's your time. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Darren, when you're ready.
I think it's the health of our local economy is incredibly personal to me. I have 2 kids, 4 and 6, who will be growing up here, and I want them to stay. So we need to look at educational opportunities, trade educational opportunities. We don't do enough to look at healthcare educational opportunities. That's how we keep our young people here, and they will stay. I have 20 extended family members that are reliant on the local economy. We have a local business in Sechelt that is reliant on the local economy being healthy, because if people have money locally, they will spend it in local businesses. It's that simple. We need to look at low tax regimes, low fee regimes. We need to look at affordable housing so more people can afford to live here. This community can move forward in a very clear manner. When I was on council, we approved a number of large developments to bring money and tax money to the district of Sechelt and bring people downtown to live downtown, to spend money in our community. We can do more. We need vision. We need energy. Let's revitalize our community. Thank you.
John, I'll move on to you now, please.
I guess I can take an agricultural saying, which comes first, the chicken or the egg in this case, for economic development. We certainly need to have a nest egg of monies to go out there and do marketing to encourage not only investors to come in and develop here, but also the tourism industry outside of Sechelt, on the coast. The whole coast will benefit if we pull people in to the coast. We certainly will have more people arriving, as has been said. Those people will have funds to support local industries. So we will have to change our industries. It's not just the youth that are looking for jobs, it's right across the sector of our community. Many, many people, including the seniors, need jobs.
Thank you. Tom, we'll move to you whenever you're ready.
I'm a small businessman in the community, and every job, one job at a time, is how I've been building my businesses. My son is self-employed in the community and struggling doing that. Over the past, I guess year and a half, we've talked to higher education, BCIT, and I've actually got something working with, very indirectly with UBC right now to look at education potentials here on the coast. And hopefully there's a good potential for that to bring some trade workers to educate them here on the coast. And working with the Sechelt Indian Band, hopefully, I mean, that's a huge unknown economic development or business that it is very unknown, but it has a huge potential to benefit this community.
Tom, that is your time. As you're ready, candidates, we'll just move through. That'll give us the most time. I don't think you need me to reintroduce all of you. So, Terry, whenever you're ready.
I try and keep this as simple as I can. We import almost everything that we buy. Our cars come from off the peninsula, our building supplies come from off the peninsula. All but 2% of our food comes from off the peninsula, etc., etc., etc. So where does that money come from? How do we pay for all this stuff? Well, the simple answer is your pension pays for it. And so, since logging has gone, fishing industry's down on its ears, bottom line is, we need to create some industry that brings money back on the coast. We've been doing that. Coastal Yachts brought $3 million last year. We've got money coming in for the vineyard that's being put together. The Gravity Park helped. There's a lot of things that are helping to bring this back together. We got a long way to go to just stop being a one-trick pony and get off the pension being the only source that we have. And I think that's what's important. That's what we need to be focused on.
Go ahead, Doug, when you're ready.
In terms of Sechelt, we need to market Sechelt. We need to market the lifestyle that we all have here and that we enjoy. We need to market the safety, and we need to market the fact that we're open for business to any business that wants to move here. Now, there are many things that we could do. We could go into the healthcare, the extended care, the assisted living. We could go into the high-tech companies. We could go into the computer companies. A lot of these companies would be home-based and could, in fact, bring money into Sechelt and be a real advantage to us. Thank you.
My name's Keith Thurkel. We need to bring in people to the Sunshine Coast, and we need affordable housing to do that for young people, because those are the people that will come here if we give them affordable housing. And in terms of that, I think we need to come up with incentives for developers and the municipality to encourage for perhaps DCC reductions on those specific projects, like seniors housing projects, and or tax phase-in periods for developments that will encourage young people with brains to come here. The smart growth, smart brain phenomenon wants to move here. So that's where marketing does come in. I work as a photojournalist. I was accused years ago by Mayor of Gibson's that I over-marketed the Sunshine Coast. When times are booming, it's easy to get people here. When they're not, it's harder. And also, BC Ferries is our #1 impediment to people coming here. We need 24-hour service, we need hourly service in the summer, and we need smaller vessels working for you, the commuters, the people who live here year-round. And that is our biggest stranglehold, is BC Ferries. Thank you very much.
Mike?
You know, first of all, we truly need to live by the principle of shopping local in a big way, because many of us do not shop locally. We need to attract professional individuals in the medical area to service our aging population, and that in turn will attract perhaps younger families to move here to service those people. The market lifestyle that brought us here is the lifestyle that will bring young people back to the area that originally where they were born and grew up in, and went away and came back and would like to live their life here. Qualicum Beach has done this in spades. They've basically gone out and looked for entrepreneurs to take over existing businesses where those people have been wanting to retire, and instead of Qualicum losing those businesses, they've been able to continue because young people have taken them over. As has just been mentioned, our biggest issue is the ferry itself, and we've been struggling.
Mike, that's your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Alice, when you're ready.
I think this is pretty short. Sechelt is a very pleasant retirement community. However, many residents are alarmed by decisions made at in-camera meetings. Hiding closed meetings is bound to alarm residents. The council needs to learn the innards of the community charter, which is pretty much easy to read. And it's only half an inch thick. You tried it sometime. Regardless of the meaning of in-camera, it can be digested by anyone if the person takes some time in order to know and understand what the council is doing, plus what it means to the residents. Local governments should provide core services, keep property tax rates low, and make fair decisions that affect
That's your time.
businesses. Thank you.
We'll move on now to Ron Blair.
Local economy. It's a big question on how we go about doing it. But for sure, there are lots of local businesses here that are doing the best they can. What we need to find a way is to get the municipal government to perhaps find some tax breaks where every local business might be able to hire somebody and find ways to generate some more employment opportunities. I think what we have to look at is that, you know, when I consider being in the local food distribution business here for about 10 years, and I got inside most retailers and food service suppliers, it was a challenge to try and find ways to get people not to go out coast to shop. It's not an easy thing to do, but there's one thing for sure: when business people have to pay out high dollars in order to have their businesses here, we have to find ways to make it work for them. And we can't do it in isolation. We have to work with all other local governments to create some opportunities to bring other businesses to the community. Thank you.
Noel, and you're up.
Thanks so much. It's certainly no surprise to me that 71% of our population rated economic development as number one issue. It is often the number one issue for most voters in most elections. It's no simple matter, though. It's very tricky. You can have all of the right characteristics and all the right indicators there and still not end up with economic development. Right now we're living in an era of, or post interest rate drops. The Bank of Canada has set a low interest rate environment, and that effect has been realized on the coast. So we know where that's headed. Essentially for us right now, we have a choice, and it's only one choice where we can bring value added to our economy, and that means skilled workers, efficient workplaces, and goods that have a customer. One other step is that people currently in our labor market can continue growing, learning, and earning a higher wage, and these are the basic nuts and bolts of how economic development happens. I certainly think that marketing of District at Sechelt is an opportunity in the future, and that's something that we're going to want to do moving forward. Thanks so much.
We'll move on now to Alice Lutz.
Thank you. Economic development is a huge problem here on the coast. We've heard about buying local, selling Sechelt to Sechelt. One of the issues that I have heard a fair amount about from younger members of our community is childcare. It makes it hard for them, difficult to find good paying jobs when there's no available daycare. Part of that is shift work a lot of times at the hospital, on the ferries. Some of those jobs that pay a living wage require you to work afternoons, sometimes even into the evening. And I think that if we could help to deal with that problem for young people, it would give us more caregivers in the community to help look after the elderly. We've heard talk about First Nations and a marina. I think that's
a minute.
we need to work on.
Thank you. A few statistics. 14% of Canadians are over 65. We have a different view here. We have a very much higher percentage. A recent survey done in Half Moon Bay found 83 home-based businesses. Squamish actually started working with that. They developed their infrastructure as we've done with the fiber optics. They located, identified, and brought out in the open their home-based businesses and started attracting a younger population. Squamish now is one of the fastest growing younger populations in the province. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can learn from others. Thank you.
And next, Steve, you'll have the finance ones.
Yes, we must admit the fact that us on council are not economic developers. We should be looking for a good economic development officer. Firstly, then we should identify our needs with him and what we'd like to see come here in our future. And the officer then can go out and actually catalog our resources, what vacant lands we have, what lots we have, and what we're looking for. We have to give him a catalog of what he can sell. So that's where I see fits in economic development. Thank you.